The name's Mabus, and we all know about Goldeneye 007 for the N64. And just in case you didn't, then I'm about to introduce you to an absolute gem. This game is one of the forefathers of first-person shooters, and a big part of the reason as to why that is its great list of diverse weapons. The good old slappers. This is at the bottom of the list purely for its limited range and poor damage output. Unless you hit them from behind, or even by surprise apparently, then get ready to continuously chop away for an unnecessarily long amount of time. Unarmed combat is fun to do at first, especially in multiplayer if you use the slappers only weapon type and the license to kill game mode, so that you die in one hit but nobody has a gun. Very entertaining and thrilling, but gets old quickly as there's no variety in gameplay. Especially for the ability to use the butt end of a sniper rifle if that weapon is currently in your inventory. It's a nice little addition to a very basic mechanic. You had to know that the Claw was going to be near the bottom, and it's sad to think that I almost put Unarmed above it as a superior weapon. Think about that for a minute. Its damage is subpar at best, and its accuracy, oh god, it's abysmal accuracy. Even the spray and pray KF-7 Soviet has better accuracy than this gun. The Soviet actually hits its first shot on target. I used the triple bond glitch to get the Klob Soviet pair so I could aim with the KF-7 Zoom, and the Klob couldn't hit water if it fell out of a boat. It took like half a clip of trigger tapping before it eventually hit what I was aiming at. Its only redeeming factor is that it's usually dual wielded, and its rate of fire is decently quick. Other than that, what a piece. Sure, the grenade is a staple in shooter games, and here, it's no different. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just a simple grenade. That is all. But when you have a great lineup of weapons to choose from, the grenade just doesn't make the cut. Mainly because of its kind of long fuse. Sure, it's only 5 seconds, but that is 5 seconds you'll never get back. And in a game like this with enemies pushing you, you kind of need things. Like, right now. Plus, the bounce of this grenade sometimes makes me whiff. Either it'll bounce too far past them, or I kind of airball it, and it doesn't go the distance. So, it's not exactly an optimal weapon here, but it's still a grenade. And I'm not gonna say no to a nade. The timed mine is essentially just a grenade in another form, but it gets a little bit of extra bonus points for being unique. In fact, you can stick its surfaces like floors, walls, and ceilings, so you don't have to worry about random bounces as often. It still happens though. Also, it makes it feel as if you were planting a fancy charge, giving the illusion of a wicked infiltration weapon, even though it's just a grenade in disguise. But hey, sometimes that's all you need to make something simple, something awesome. The time mine also has a cool design to it as well, each of the mines having their own color pattern to them to distinguish them from one another, which I always thought was pretty cool and memorable. But at the end of the day, it's just a timed explosive, kinda like a grenade. The throwing knives are kind of hard to use. Based on what arm throws the knife, you have to be off target accordingly, making them kind of aggravating in the second bunker mission when that is literally the only weapon you have unless you want to attract the entire Spetsnaz onto the premises. But when you throw the knives off the dam or into the void in the surface area of the multiplayer bunker map, they make a pretty cool sound that lasts for quite a while. Plus you can throw them up in the air vertically and play catch with the little suckers. In the end, the throwing knives are a kind of nice variety weapon. Bond's signature weapon, and you use it in almost every map. The PP7 isn't bad, but I just get tired of using the same weapon all the time. That's why it's so low on this list. Other than that, it's the most well-rounded, basic, average gun in the game. The kind of thing you'd come to expect from a default weapon. Spray and pray. That's the name of the game with the KF-7 Soviet. Sure, it can be accurate if you trigger tap while aiming down the sights, but when in full auto, it's just going to put ammo down range. Painful 7.62mm rounds. And in maps like Facility, Silo, and Archives, where you are moving insanely quickly for the cheat code time, ammo down range is more than enough to get the job done. Simply wounding enemies will buy you the time you need to run past them before they recover and shoot back. The downside is how noisy it is, and on some of these levels, specifically the second bunker mission, it may attract some unwanted guests. Sometimes guns can be overrated. Sometimes you need to settle some unfinished business a little more directly.
Put the knife in me.
Sometimes you need something with a bit more of a personal touch.
Look me in the eye and see what's going on in there when you turn it.
That's where the hunting knives come in. It's just a turned around throwing knife, but this time it doesn't leave your hands. And walking around pimp slapping the shiznit out of guards and hearing the sounds of them being butchered can sometimes be the release you need after a stressful day at work. I promise I'm mentally stable. I'm Dr. Mabus cleared. The D5K is a fully automatic weapon that, to be
110%
honest, is kind of underwhelming despite its sexy looking exterior. It has a nice shine to its body, and on some missions it can be dual wielded, which drastically increases its effectiveness. But at the same time, that can be said with every weapon in the game, so that argument is kind of invalid. Its slow shooting 9mm ammunition is just not good enough to compete with the other full autos in the game, but I'd still use it over a pistol, so I guess there's something to be said about that. Yes, I just put this above the D5K. Why? Because it's unique. Sure, it sucks ass damage-wise. In fact, it's probably the worst in the entire game, taking an embarrassingly long amount of time to tase someone to death. But it's only usable with the all guns cheat activated, so you basically need to finish the game in order to acquire it. And most importantly, it's got a beastly animation of James Bond on the screen. I do wish though that if you held down the fire button and made direct contact with some of the enemies, that would electrocute them. It would definitely add some variety to the weapon that would be quite entertaining. Dude, this sniper rifle is kind of ahead of its time. It uses the same ammo type as the other long-range weapons in the game, but this one stretches out its accuracy just a little bit more. With the ability to zoom in or out, this sniper rifle adds that little extra versatility that the other fully auto ones just don't have. And it's right beside the shotguns in the weapon order. So if you triple bond glitch it, you could zoom in with the fully automatic shotgun and snipe some people with buckshot. Defies logic, but I'm not letting that stop me. The tank is ridiculously fun. Sure, it's pretty decent as it is with the all guns cheat equipped and just shooting tank shells out of your forehead to nuke the enemies, but once you actually get inside the vehicle itself, the fun meter not only rises to the next level, but breaks through the ceiling. Now you've just added the ability to run over enemies, and your time on levels like streets and runway becomes significantly longer, not because it's slower, but because you get distracted terrorizing the soldiers on the ground. Plus, the squishing sound is so funny and satisfying as they scream underneath the tracks. What? Don't look at me like that. I'm Dr. Mabus cleared. Remember? Completely sane. Want something with a little bit more firepower? Something that will knock the enemy back several feet? Then look no further than the Cougar Magnum. Natalia knows what's up in jungle when she sports the shiny chrome unit and blows baddies away with one shot. It's especially fun in the Cradle mission too, with all guns and the invincibility cheat equipped. Just go down to the final platform early before Trevelyan is ready, and let the guards chase you down there. Then once they're at the bottom, just shoot them right off the edge and watch them fall into the blue void down below. Another great way to kill a few minutes. From one powerful weapon to another. But instead of focusing all their energy into one shot to shoot through doors like the Cougar Magnum can, these shotguns spread out their firepower into devastating buckshot that once again sends enemies flying backwards after shooting them. Both the regular shotgun and the automatic shotgun are basically the same weapon despite their names, so they get to share a spot on this list. However, the automatic shotgun is the only one that shows up during the regular missions and doesn't need the all guns cheat in order to use it. Another cool feature to them is that the cartridge rack on the outside of the gun gets depleted accordingly based on how many shells you have left. Super cool. What's more iconic than Bond's signature gun? Bond's signature gun equipped with a suppressor. The silenced PP7 does exactly what its unsuppressed version does, but it's quiet. The enemies won't hear you fire, and stealth is a big part of this weapon, which is my favorite playstyle, and going to the unsuppressed version afterwards just isn't quite the same. The DD44 has a wicked firing sound, holds one more shot than the PP7, and for some reason feels like it does more damage. Maybe because I used to call it the Diesel 44 when I was a child. Or maybe it feels more powerful because I always seem to go for headshots with the Dostovi, execution style. I remember once on multiplayer my two brothers were nearing the end of a long drawn out gunfight on Temple, and as I came around the corner to aid my teammate, I drew my Diesel 44 from being unarmed, and in one headshot, ended my brother who was Jaws at the time with extra health. All the work my one brother put in, and I showed up with one shot for the finish with the Dostovi 44. Don't sleep on this weapon. Very fun. Remember what I said about silenced weapons? Well, here we are again, except this one's fully auto. Yes, it's the D5K again, but for some reason, once it's suppressed, it feels like a way better gun. Could just be a placebo effect because enemies don't hear when it's fired, so they won't overwhelm you. But it also feels like it fires faster and does more damage than its basic counterpart. Either way, it plays into my stealth playstyle, but this time with more firepower, so I won't question it. This weapon is typically only used in train to cut away the floor so that you can escape. Now sure, you can use bullets from just about any other gun to do the same job, but the watch laser won't blind you with loads of bullet holes in the floor. Plus it's surprisingly effective for close range combat. And in the tight corridors of the train, why not take advantage of this? Plus the triple bond glitch is actually pretty funny with this one. In single player, the proximity mines are not all that effective, with the exception of Depot, when the enemies camp you while you're exiting a warehouse. But in multiplayer, however, proximity mines can be very fun, unless you're on the receiving end of them, especially if the enemy knows the spawn points. At one time, I not only knew all the spawn locations in facility, but the order in which they worked. So if you proximity mined each spot and just kept following the cycle, you would literally spawn kill your helpless opponent. Probably one of the best weapon selections in multiplayer in my opinion.
Sir? May I see your invitation, please?
Sure. Here's my invitation.
Another fun mine to use is the remote mine. It gets old in multiplayer when someone just kinda runs around spamming quick detonate, but in single player, it's really effective, because you don't have to worry about being that one asshole who exploits all the cheap strats in the game. The NPCs don't care. Plus sometimes you can use traps on them too. The way the remote mines were designed to be used. And watching just how much they fly around from the explosions never gets old either.
What's that?
Rocket launcher.
Ah yes, the rocket launcher. There's nothing quite like it. Aim at your target, and instead of firing simple little pathetic bullets, you fire a rocket-propelled missile to utterly destroy your foes. This rocket launcher is accurate, deadly, And you can dual wield them in this game because, hey, why not? It's Goldeneye. We go over the top here. That's the same reason why your desktop toy motorcycle explodes too. Okay, I lied. There is something quite like the rocket launcher. Only the grenade launcher isn't quite as effective at longer ranges. But this thing looks and sounds super cool. And you know what? With the triple bond glitch, you don't have to decide whether to go with the rocket or the grenade launcher. Because once again, Goldeneye's over the top, and you can have both. The ZMG 9mm, or what my uneducated child self used to call the Zemzem 9. These guns are strong, fast rate of fire, big damage, reasonably high magazine capacity, and just in case that wasn't enough, in most maps, without using cheats I might add. If you see the Zemzem 9s, they usually end up as a dual wield option by the end of the level, essentially doubling the effectiveness. Plus they sound pretty cool too, and that muzzle flash just looks big and scary. Speaking of muzzle flash, this beast shoots out in 3 different directions. The AR-33 assault rifle uses higher caliber bullets that hit like a truck, allows for a zoomed in, aim down sight with deadly accuracy, and is incapable of firing less than 3 shots in hipfire. That's right, unless you're aiming down the sights, this puppy will 3-round burst if you just tap the trigger. The AR-33 also shoots through objects like doors, other bodies, and metal Aztec crates. Use this to your advantage. For the longest time, I never really understood the silver PP7. It was only on this last playthrough that I finally figured out how it truly works. It is just like its ordinary counterpart in every way, except for its sexy silver coating that glistens in the light. Oh, and because it'll one-shot enemies only when you're shooting through an object. Normally it'll take the same amount as a regular PP7, but if you shoot through surfaces like a door, crates, or even another body, it'll one-shot insta-kill them. So there is a little bit of skill involved and is actually only really useful in niche environments. But that's why it's silver, and not gold. The gold PP7, however, will kill in one shot without going through an object first. And it's a good thing too, because the gold PP7 can't shoot through walls like its silver cousin. But just like its silver brethren, it has a glimmering golden exterior that shines like a beacon in the sky. And you know what my favorite thing to do with these 2 weapons is? Yep, triple bond that bitch and make them platinum. Okay, the color doesn't actually change, but now you can combine the effectiveness of both, and essentially no one lives more than 2 shots. You have every scenario covered with this combo. Now you can check out both colors as you use them. Okay, you had to know that this one was going to be near the top of the list. Its god-tier firepower can cut through anything like butter. A nearly endless 80-round magazine, wall-penetrating capabilities, a mean muzzle flash, drone gun sound effects, and I know you'll appreciate the dual-wield cheat option. A Goldeneye classic. When you pick up the RCP-90, you basically become invincible. It outclasses pretty much every weapon by leaps and bounds, and if you struggle at the game, boot up Train and notice how much easier that level becomes with an RCP-90 in hand. Oh, and by the way, it's secretly on that mission on Agent difficulty near the start of the level. So have fun, and you're welcome. This gun only appears on one map, and everything about it is cool. From its 50-round magazine, to its white and gray color, all the way to its sweet firing sound and the goddamn name! The Phantom is my favorite gun to use on Frigate, and this map even lets you carry 2 of them. They really amped up the less is more strategy with this one, only giving you 1 level to use it, but go all out on performance and enjoyability, making you want it more. The best part is on all guns, with once again the triple bond glitch. It is paired with the AR-33, which means you can use the assault rifle zoomed in aiming mechanics on the Phantom's high capacity magazine, and is my favorite pair of guns to use together. I just love this gun. Yes. The legendary Golden Gun. I'm not sure what made the Golden Gun more iconic, Christopher Lee as Scaramanga in the Bond movie, or this game. But the entire concept of
I only need one.
is portrayed perfectly in Goldeneye. Encased in a glass box at a sacred Egyptian temple, guarded by hidden automated drone guns, this weapon only carries one bullet before needing to reload. However, this bullet is a one-shot kill to the enemy, anywhere on their body. You know, unless you're unlucky enough to shoot them in their own gun, or it's bare insanity. The Golden Gun glistens with that beautiful 64-bit glare that I love so much that I actually spent a decent chunk of change to purchase one of 150 replica Golden Guns made. Look at that beauty! The Golden Gun is also a huge part of any multiplayer game too, being an incredible threat. You see someone carrying this beast and you instantly take note and prep your A game. And when it's in your hands, you become dominant, unstoppable, the feared, the man with the Golden Gun. Now, what could possibly top the Golden Gun? Well, the Moonraker laser, of course. Almost just as iconic, this weapon doesn't shoot bullets, rockets, or chunks of iron that explode on impact. No, this laser shoots concentrated light energy and deals insane damage. It's not a one-shot kill, but it's not very many more, and a few well-placed shots and you're seeing red ooze on your screen. And the fact that it never needs to reload, or never runs out of ammo whatsoever, makes it an incredible threat. Even its rate of fire is borderline fully automatic speeds. It can shoot through objects, and is one of the main reasons why Aztec is so difficult. That is until you get your hands on them yourself. Then this level does a full 180. It sort of reminds me of the movie Eraser, when Arnold Schwarzenegger finally gets his hands on the futuristic EM railguns, proceeds to immediately dual wield them, and absolutely pop the fuck off. That is the effectiveness and badassery of the Moonraker laser. This has been Mabus. The weapons in this game laid the groundwork for all future FPS games as an absolute gold standard when it comes to quality, long-lasting excellence that stands the test of time. Newer games should take note. So in the meantime and in between time, stay tuned for more.